sense, But I know that when it comes to creating music, it takes way more than just making a good song. It takes way more than just creating a good beat. It goes beyond that to, marketing. How do people get to hear the song that you have created? What do you think about the role of technology and social media in actually making songs blow up, genres blow up, just the way that Afrobeats is doing?
It has made it easy, like very, very, very easy. And thank God for technology that has made the whole world a very small village. So things like TikTok has made things easy. Before now, having streaming platforms coming from age where we used to have to buy CD and we have to get iPods and have to download stuff, and we have now moved from that to everybody having access to iTunes, Spotify, Boomplay, and then artists can also do their songs and release it online, and not just release song. You can actually now make money back, which that now makes it very interesting, because people always feel like musicians. Before now, we feel like musicians, you guys are very broke. So we didn't think that music at this point will start paying us back, which is why there is now more interest in it, because I can be a musician and release a song to the world, and the world embraces it, and I'm not just famous, I'm also making money. That's what makes this whole music thing now very interesting, especially in this part of it. Like I said, it took us a while to catch up, but now we're here and it keeps getting better.
Okay. So for you started music very early, and in your journey, you talk about how mentorship has helped you, through people, singers like Tim Godfrey, and Mastercraft, how being surrounded by these amazing people very early, has helped you, become this successful at your craft. So what would you advise, people who are trying to make music independently? What would you advise them to do, and what do you think makes people that are making music stand out?
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, from everything we have said, one of the primary summary would be that embrace first find out what is unique to you, and then embrace it. So the thing is that in embracing it, you might lose a lot of people. People might not accept it at first, but your consistency and resilience is what will now bring forth what people will finally now accept. Working with all these people, we're told that it had to be done a certain way for you to achieve this result. And everybody kept following that way. But we had some sort of people that said, what's with this whole, we have to do like this. So we had people that now was breaking boundaries, but they now opened the way for us to see, actually, so if we go this way, may everything come make sense. So thanks to people like Dr. Tim Godfrey and Mastercraft that set the standard. And then now other people have now seen that there are more possibilities as to anywhere Belefis. Okay, now everybody go more follow here. So that is very profound for me.
Okay. I really enjoyed what you said. So let's also talk about your process in creating music. If we talk about Afrobeats and maybe pretty much any music whatsoever, people say that the bed work or the groundwork for a good music is the beat itself. That's what determines if the music, goes lyrically. Lyrics may not make so much of a difference. You can just say something catchy and it flies.
Yeah.
But the beat is the main thing. Tell us about how your creative process goes when it comes to creating sound.
Okay, so my creative process is always, so this is the part that people don't usually see, where somebody brings a skeletal material and I have to form flesh out of it. So it takes a lot of work that you have done personally, because you cannot give what you don't have. So it takes a lot of work that I've done in myself to be able to say, now I get a picture of where this artist wants this sound to go, and then I now start creating. Luckily and thankfully, we are blessed with a lot of African rhythms, African melody in Nigeria that I think that we have only tapped 20 to 30% of.
Imagine that.
Yes, 20 to 30% of. And so creating the music from the percussions to the melody to now adding color like the bass line, and then now making a structure out of it from verse to chorus to what the hook would be, and then now making it to now form is some. If I start explaining now, I'm sure we'll use another 3 hours. But it is an adventure that is mysterious and very spiritual.
Wow.
Yeah, actually very spiritual. Actually very spiritual. So because you are tapping from realms that people cannot see.
Interesting.
Yes, and you create sounds. So isn't it funny how you create a sound in Nigeria and somebody listens to it in Russia or Europe and is connecting to something? That is the part that people ignore, and you feel like, I'm on a vibe, we just the vibe to him, we just the vibe to him. So it is a realm that you can't just, it's not a walk in the park. You can't just wake up one night, I just want nag beat, cocoa. No. You have to have drenched yourself in beat creation, and then every other thing, rest is history.
Rest is history. I like that. But
Yes.
isn't it funny that, some people come out and say that some of their best works have been the ones that have been unplanned? This, maybe they're in the studio,
Spontaneity, right.
spontaneity, like they're in the studio, they're just working, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, may I try this beat? Do you understand? And then that happens to be that song that everybody loves, So I wanted to ask you, when you want to start creating beats, is it that the singer comes to you first and says, oh, this is the kind of beat I'm looking for, and then you work with it? Or do you create the beat and then look for the singer to jump on it? How does it work for you?
So people are gifted in two ways. So there are some people that would say, send me beats, let me listen. So anyone where I catch vibe, I'll just start writing. There are some people that like to create on the spot. As that you find people like Asha in that category and a whole lot of other people where producer and artist, let's sit together. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? But some people are just give me beats. I'll just start vibing. So it works both ways. So artists can come to me and say, send me like 10 beats that you have. Let me pick one. Some others can come and say, I need us to build it from the scratch. So they're in these two categories. Any which way, you as the producer, you have to be prepared. Yes.
Regardless of how it goes.
Yes.
Okay, so in Nigeria, I don't know if it's like this in, every part of the world, but in Nigeria, there seems to be like a variation between... Okay, so I was going to ask you, gospel music, which is the genre that you do mostly, happens to fall under Afrobeat. It's all about, the message. It still falls under that same genre.
Yes. Well, it does. So I can say that gospel music is actually wide. Afro music is a part of. So there is reggae, there is urban, there is hip hop, there is trap, there's Afrobeat. Yeah, what stays consistent is the message. And Afro can now, so there are some artists that say, okay, this is the genre I want to stay with. So I'm doing Afrobeat, like I'm doing gospel, my gospel, Afro, I'm doing secular, what I'm doing is Afrobeat. So in gospel, because of the kind of message we convey, there you wouldn't find much people in the Afrobeat space.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yes, because they feel like it's too Jim. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to copy?
Yeah.
Yes. But this is a sound that is trending on this other side with the likes of the Davidos, Burna Boy, and it's a trend. It's what we stand for.
Yeah.
So we believe in. But in the gospel, I don't think their mind understands the totality and the entirety of Afrobeat.
Okay.
So anything that it's just so they want something that's always very solemn and very calm and very. But that is just a part. So they are in parts. Now we're called to meet every need. Because you can't be serving people rice every day. At least add beans, plantain.
Okay.
So that's what makes music beautiful.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you think that, let's look at the way gospel music is, where gospel music is in Nigeria, and where we have, secular music. Do you feel, because I've had a lot of people talk about, the arguments that, gospel music, they could do more, gospel musicians, there seems to be like some sort of expectation that gospel should sort of compete with secular music. I want to know what your take on that is. And if you feel that, gospel music, we're glorifying God, this is what we do. We could do better. There's no need for competition. I just want to know what your, take on that is. The secular music versus gospel music, whole thing that seems to be going on.
I definitely will stand for the gospel, but then I would agree that we have a lot of work to do on the gospel music end, and what is killing us is ignorance. There are structures and behind the scenes plan and strategy that these guys put in place that we have no idea about. Some of us have idea of them, but are not ready to implement. For whatever reason, I don't know. But it is evident that we can't get the result that they're getting because we're not putting in to plan what they are implementing. Okay. So we can definitely not have the same result. What it to take one of these guys to do will require like 4 of us.
Why is that?
That's it's ignorance to information. Yes, it's just ignorance to information. Okay. So we should have known this thing a while, and we should be doing more because the message we convey is more powerful and will outlive us when we're gone. So, but it is sad that we're the ones that are now behind because we try to use religion and grace and the Spirit of God to cover ignorance to information that can help us be where we are.
Wow.
That's the problem. I agree for sure that we can do better. We actually need to do better because in the scale of things, we're way behind schedule. We're late to the party.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people say that, I want to do gospel music, but I'm not going to do gospel music because let me do the music that is popular, basically. Let me do the music that sells. Apparently, when it comes to, music, we talked about the beat part, what it is, in terms of beats to make a song, blow up and all that. But when it comes to music, we're also talking about lyrics and the message that it carries. A lot of people sometimes shy away from gospel music and just decide to go secular, because they feel that this message, talk about love, talk about other things, seems to sell more, than gospel music itself or the message that, the gospel itself. So what do you think about that?
For those that are believing that gospel music does not sell, well, I'm glad to announce to you that it actually does. Now there is more knowledge. So what I can say is we have an idea of what they implement. Take that information, apply it to yours, stay consistent with it, you get the result.
It doesn't matter what message you're sharing, right?
Yes, it doesn't matter what message you're trying to convey because it is give and get back. So you release music online, you promote it with money. Now money they just collect money, like they say. So you promote it, it gets you the streams, it gets you the right algorithm, it pays you back. Everybody is happy.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
So here's one thing I wanted to ask you. I know it's very expensive to produce music independently, to create music independently, good quality music. So not everybody has the privilege, of getting, a record label to take them in. What would you advise people that are trying to do music independently, who say, oh, I have the talent, but I don't know anybody and I just want to do something, and put my music out there. With all this technology, social media and everything, do you think that it's still possible for that person to thrive in the industry? Just tell me what you think about people who are going to music independently.
Yeah, so where I come from, they say excuses are not a thing.
Okay.
So people that make a lot of excuses.
Where I come from, where's that place?
It's behind the scenes. So people that make a lot of excuses would probably be lagging in a lot of things. So it is jet age. So there are plenty of things that are happening. There are what's it called now? Record labels that are taking in people. There is seminars. There is tournaments that are scouting for singers. And so what you should be do as a musician, if you don't have money, is look out for all these opportunities. Try out things like The Voice. Try out things like Nigerian Idol. At least get into this space where these things are. One way or the other, you would. So it's the resilience. That's what I was talking about. So people are just sitting in the house and just be like, oh, I don't get money. When will God do it? It's not. You have to get in the game because what we do is not. The moment you sleep for 1 minute, we've gone. You are not trying to catch up. Then you are not seated. You go old for there. So you actually you actually have to be dogged. Get into where music is done. Be in every concert. Buy ticket. You meet somebody somehow because it's what diligence does. See a man that's diligent. You stand before kings. So just stay.